Hello. I stand before you to address a critical and urgent matter, the ongoing war between Russia and Ukraine. In a world where liberal democracies are showing signs of war fatigue, it's crucial that we do not turn a blind eye to the atrocities unfolding in Ukraine. The West's policy of non-engagement created this situation in the first place in 2014, when Putin went effectively unpunished for illegally annexing Crimea, and now, despite the clear signs of Russia's commitment to this unfolding illegal invasion, we did nothing to put a decisive end to this terrible carnage. Our recent history is marked by disengagement, relatively limited interventions in conflicts in Syria, Libya, Yemen, and Somalia. We've reduced our dependence on ground forces, focusing instead on airstrikes and assistance to other fighting forces. But this situation in Ukraine is distinct and demands a unique approach. We've provided weapons, equipment, and intelligence, enabling Ukrainian forces to put up a valiant and strong resistance against Russian invasion. But is that enough? Russia's military campaign in Ukraine has been marked by indiscriminate violence, targeting civilians, hospitals, schools, employing horrific weapons like cluster bombs and white phosphorus. These are gross violations of human rights and international law. And what makes international law and human rights declarations valid if they are not enforced? We must reevaluate our engagement policy. We can implement a no-fly zone, secure evacuation corridors, take a more active role in fighting against Russian forces are options that we need to seriously consider. We have a moral obligation to protect Ukrainian people. The Russian military is also not the formidable force it once was. Their equipment is outdated. Their soldiers demoralized, and they face major logistical, operational, and tactical difficulties. Putin's original ambition was to conquer Kyiv, and we saw how his army was butchered. Furthermore, Russia is increasingly isolated on the global stage. Their strongest ally, China, has remained largely on the sidelines. They voted in abstention in the UN Security Council meeting that called for an end for the invasion. The only countries beside Russia that voted to reject the resolution on the floor were Belarus, North Korea, Eritrea, and Syria. It is not a winning coalition or alliance. World wars, if that is the fear, saw blocks of powerful allies fighting one another, and currently such a bloc does not exist on Russia's side. These factors significantly reduce the risk of a global war, and they provide us with a strategic, unique opportunity to intervene and support Ukraine and dismantle Putin, his army, and his administration. Let us talk about nuclear weapons, because I'm sure that's the primary worry of those who may disagree. Because, Putin has little motivation to destroy a country that he wishes to annex in the first place and fill with Russian people. This is a war that he's spun with propaganda about the heart of a nation and the expansion of the Russian Empire. He has not knowingly made any preparations for using nuclear weapons. And nuclear retaliation is definitely not something Putin would like to occur. He's not some madman. He's strategic and tactical. And any worst-case scenarios like this would certainly target the Kremlin. And that's obviously not something Putin would like. And I'm aware of these challenges and concerns associated with intervention. This fear of escalation and sensitivity to military casualties are significant. But we must balance these concerns with the urgent humanitarian need and the strategic opportunity to support Ukraine. Adjusting public expectations, displaying political unity, employing strategies that limit casualties can help mitigate the impact of these concerns. Intervention could look like, in some case, like the NATO intervention in Serbia in 1999, a coalition-era campaign. We might take more losses than we anticipate, but we would have significant, perhaps decisive, absolutely decisive impact on the battlefield. Using this option to protect Ukrainians from losing outright or forcing an armistice has the lowest risk of spiraling escalation between NATO and Russia. So the war has reached, as we know, a bloody stalemate. It has not moved since, effectively, the Ukrainian capture of Kharkiv a year ago, but neither side showing signs of collapse or willingness to compromise. Certain military experts have compared it to the front lines of World War I and how bloody they were, but this time supplemented by drones and other devices of war. This conflict could drag into 2024, and absolutely probably will. It result in a further loss of life and instability in the region and in the world. And on a political note, all of these liberal democracies in the West and NATO that support Ukraine, the United States, France, Britain, Germany, the faster that this is brought to a conclusion, the less likely these nations experience this backlash, a populist, isolationist, and counterproductive sentiment from constituents. America and its NATO allies have the capability to tip the balance in favor of Ukraine, helping them defend their independence and sovereignty. The situation in Ukraine is dire. It requires immediate and thoughtful response from America and its NATO allies. We have the capability, the strategic opportunity, and the moral obligation to intervene. We can help civilians, support a sovereign nation, uphold the principles that we all commit ourselves to, and contribute to stability in the region. Let us stand with Ukraine. Thank you.